What does it take to survive years of solitary confinement, brutal guards, and a prison literally surrounded by sharks for a crime you didn't even commit? Today's story follows one man's relentless fight for freedom and the unlikely friendship that kept him alive long enough to win it. Let's get into it. The story opens with Papillon, a skilled thief working for a ruthless crime boss who shows zero mercy for betrayal. We see this firsthand when the boss brutally beats one of Papillon's friends simply on suspicion of disloyalty. Papillon has just pulled off a major diamond heist at a wealthy party, and as he hands the loot over, the boss warns him plainly, "Betray me, and you'll end up just like that man." Papillon jokes that he kept some of the bigger diamonds for himself, and it turns out that wasn't a joke at all. He really did hide the largest stones, which he gives to his girlfriend that night, worth more than most people in their village would earn in a year. What neither of them notices is a spy watching from the shadows, sent by the boss to check exactly this kind of disloyalty. The next morning, while Papillon is happily planning a future with his girlfriend, police show up and arrest him for murder. He has no idea what's happening. The trial moves fast, and he's sentenced to life in prison. His girlfriend promises to hire the best lawyer money can buy, but Papillon already understands the truth. His boss framed him for the very murder he watched happen, eliminating a loyal man to send a message and disposing of Papillon at the same time. There's no lawyer who can fix that. He's on his own now. In a nearby cell, a prisoner named Juliet tells him plainly, escaping this place takes money. Papillon brushes it off at first. Soon after, during a routine medical check, Juliet points him toward another inmate, Louis, a highly educated forger who made a fortune producing counterfeit documents before landing in prison himself. Juliet's advice is simple: protect Louis and the money problem solves itself. The other prisoners, he explains, will eventually try to kill Louis just to get at his hidden fortune, but if Papillon protects him, he'll be paid well for it. They're shipped out together toward a brutal overseas penal colony. On the boat, Papillon introduces himself to Louis and offers protection in exchange for payment. Louis laughs it off, confident he won't need it, until that very night when he watches a prisoner slit another man's throat purely for the money hidden on him, then watches a guard quietly collect the dropped coins for himself. The guards, it turns out, are complicit in the violence. Terrified, Louis seeks Papillon out the next morning and accepts the deal. Curious why Papillon even needs money, Louis learns the real plan: escape, and Louis is coming with him when it happens. Louis laughs that off too. His wife will hire a lawyer and get him released properly. Papillon doesn't hold back. "Your wife already controls all your money. Why would she want you free to take it back?" Louis insists his wife isn't like that. Papillon says nothing more, but that night, the same killer from before tries to come for Louis, and Papillon intervenes violently, beating the man so badly his face is unrecognizable. Guards arrive, find blood on Papillon's hands, and punish him with days of being hung upside down in chains, no food at all. Through it, his only real worry is whether Louis survived while he was helpless to protect him. He returns to find Louis safe, and from that point on, every prisoner is too afraid of Papillon to try anything again. They finally arrive at the penal colony itself, where the warden delivers a chilling welcome speech. Any escape attempt earns 2 years in solitary, harming a guard adds 5 more, and even successful escapees rarely survive what's waiting outside the walls. Dense jungle on one side, shark-infested waters on the other. The brutality here makes their earlier journey look gentle by comparison. While working, Louis accidentally drops his hidden money, and Papillon carefully retrieves it for him without keeping a cent, a gesture that deepens Louis's trust completely. He starts confiding in Papillon more openly, still convinced his wife will eventually free him. Papillon keeps gently pushing back on that hope, certain it's misplaced. An opportunity arises when a supply cart carrying women for the guards gets stuck in the mud nearby. Papillon strikes a deal with the driver, promising a large payment to smuggle him out hidden in the cart over the next 2 days. That night, a prison-wide alarm sounds. Someone else has attempted escape, not Papillon, and the news actually gives him fresh confidence. If it's possible for someone else, it's possible for him too. The next alarm, though, brings horror. The escaped prisoner has been caught, and it's Juliet. The warden executes him in front of the entire camp without hesitation. Shaken, Papillon is ordered to carry the body into the forest, choosing Louis as his assistant. When an exhausted Louis sits down mid-task, guards start whipping him mercilessly, and Papillon, finally pushed past his limit, smashes a rock into a guard's skull and flees into the jungle alone, eventually diving off a cliff into the river below to escape pursuit. He swims to the rendezvous point where the cart driver's boat is supposedly waiting. Only the driver demands payment up front. Papillon, having lost his stash, promises double the money once they reach France. The driver laughs and signals guards waiting nearby. He's been working with the prison the entire time, paid handsomely to capture escapees exactly like this. Papillon is dragged back. The warden informs him he's fortunate. The guard he struck survived, sparing him Juliet's fate, but his escape attempt still earns him solid solitary confinement in the prison's darkest, most isolated cell. Total silence is enforced, no conversation allowed. Living entirely alone with nothing but watery soup to eat, Papillon's mind and body begin breaking down together. At one point, the very guard he struck enters his cell and beats him further out of lingering anger, leaving him too weak to even fight back. Word reaches Louis, who's devastated by his friend's condition. Quietly, a guard slips Papillon a coconut hiding a secret note from Louis, the first real nourishment he's had in ages. It restores something in him, hope and a little physical strength. Louis keeps sending coconuts daily, and slowly Papillon recovers enough to start exercising in his tiny cell, determined to survive. His improving health puzzles the warden, who launches an investigation and eventually catches a guard smuggling in the coconut, punishing him severely. Confronting Papillon directly, the warden demands to know who's been helping him. Papillon could easily name Louis, but stays silent to protect him, even as the warden cuts his already meager rations in half out of pure spite. Days later, the warden tries a different approach, offering Papillon a bowl of genuinely good soup, hoping starvation has worn him down enough to talk. Papillon defiantly pushes the bowl back untouched. Enraged by the refusal, the warden cuts his food further still and plunges his cell into total darkness. What was once merely isolating becomes something far worse. Papillon's mental state deteriorates badly, and in his darkest moment, he even attempts to take his own life, failing but barely holding on. By the time his 2-year sentence finally ends, he can barely walk on his own. Placed in the prison hospital, Louis visits and is heartbroken to find his friend seemingly lost his mind completely. As they talk, Louis shares his own devastating news. His wife divorced him and married her own lawyer, exactly as Papillon predicted, and is now living comfortably off Louis's stolen fortune while he rots away doing the warden's paperwork. Mid-conversation, Louis suddenly realizes something. Papillon isn't actually insane. He's been faking it the entire time. When Louis asks why he never simply told the truth to ease his own suffering, Papillon's answer is simple. He knew Louis could never survive the darkness of that cell, so he protected him with silence instead, no matter the personal cost. Moved to tears by this loyalty, Louis vows to repay it. He's already worked out a detailed escape plan with another prisoner who has access to a boat, timed for the following Sunday, when the warden and guards will all be distracted watching a film together. The conversation is interrupted when Papillon suddenly starts screaming and lunging violently, forcing doctors to sedate him, a deliberate performance, since the moment they leave he quietly spits out the pill. The act wasn't about fooling the doctors specifically, it was insurance, making sure Louis wouldn't accidentally reveal anything sensitive in front of witnesses. Throughout this charade, Papillon has secretly been hoarding sleeping pills for exactly this kind of plan. They recruit a young prisoner named Sam, who has a close relationship with one of the guards. In exchange for help escaping too, Sam agrees to steal that guard's keys when the moment comes. By Sunday, everything is ready, except the boat itself still needs payment, which Louis covers. Papillon hands over the stockpiled sleeping pills, instructing Louis to slip them into the guards' drinks during the film screening, ensuring they'll be too sedated to interfere. As night falls and the plan kicks into motion, Sam uses the darkened screening room to distract the key-holding guard while Papillon knocks him out cold and grabs the keys. Other guards, hearing the commotion, try to investigate, but the sleeping pills take hold first, dropping them where they stand. The group slips out into the night, only for a sudden, heavy storm to knock out the lights entirely, forcing them to scale the prison wall and jump down blind in the chaos. Louis, jumping just as the lights flicker back on, lands badly and shatters his leg. The boat contact insists they leave Louis behind given his injury, but Papillon refuses outright, hoisting his friend onto his back and carrying him the rest of the way. Just before reaching the water, a figure grabs them in the dark, momentarily terrifying, but it turns out to be a guard who'd been bribed in advance to help, leading them straight to the boat. Even once they're afloat, the danger isn't over. The boat is too small to safely carry all 4 men, and the contact insists Louis has to be thrown overboard to lighten the load. Papillon attacks him to protect his friend, but the larger man overpowers him and is about to finish him off when Louis, in a desperate act of survival, stabs the attacker to death with a hidden knife. It's the first time he's ever killed anyone, and the guilt hits hard, but Papillon and Sam reassure him there was no other choice. They dispose of the body and continue on, only to be swallowed almost immediately by a violent storm that knocks them all unconscious in the chaos of the waves. They wash up safely on a remote island, welcomed warmly by the local residents, until a visiting nun quietly tells Papillon she knows exactly where they escaped from, framing it as forgiveness while making her true intentions clear. Realizing what's coming, Papillon urges immediate flight, but it's already too late. Police arrive, having been alerted by the nun herself. Sam is killed attempting to flee, and Papillon and Louis are recaptured. Louis, deeply moved by Papillon's loyalty even now, gently suggests he should have run alone when he had the chance. Papillon says nothing in response. This second escape attempt earns him 5 brutal years back in solitary confinement. The film jumps ahead 5 years. Papillon emerges visibly aged and broken, astonishing the warden simply by having survived at all. Even the warden seems genuinely impressed by his endurance, though he warns there's truly no escaping what comes next. Papillon is being transferred to Devil's Island, the most notorious and inescapable facility in the entire system, surrounded by towering cliffs and open ocean on every side. Escape here is considered so impossible that guards barely bother watching the prisoners at all, leaving them with only meager weekly rations that rarely stretch the full week. Arriving, Papillon finds most of the inmates have already lost their grip on reality, and he feels himself tempted to simply give up too, until, to his shock, he discovers Louis is also there. Spared the dark cell because of his usefulness to the warden's paperwork, Louis was sent straight to Devil's Island instead. The reunion is joyful, though Louis now insists he's done trying to escape. He sees no point in fighting any further. Time passes. One day, walking near the cliffs, Papillon idly tosses a coconut into the water and watches it bob effortlessly on the waves, and the idea hits him instantly. He begins quietly preparing one final escape, gathering dried coconuts to build crude floating rafts, planning to leap straight off the cliffs into the open sea below. He wants Louis to come with him, but Louis refuses. He's simply too exhausted, with nothing left waiting for him in the outside world, even if he somehow survived the jump. Respecting his friend's exhaustion, Papillon doesn't push him further. He throws his raft over the edge and leaps from the towering cliff alone. Privately, Louis is convinced the fall alone will kill him. The height is brutal, but he keeps that fear to himself rather than crush whatever hope Papillon has left. Looking down after the jump, certain his friend is gone, Louis is suddenly stunned to hear Papillon's voice calling up from below. He's surfaced safely, alive, waving and shouting with pure joy at finally being free. Louis smiles and cheers him on from above. The story then leaps forward many years. We find an older Papillon, still technically a fugitive, but living a genuinely free and fulfilling life. He eventually shares his extraordinary story with an American publisher, and once his memoir is released, it finally brings him real justice. Decades after his original sentence, the courts formally clear his name and drop every charge against him, allowing him at last to return home. And that's where the story closes, a hard-won victory built on nothing but stubborn courage and refusal to give up hope. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like and let us know your thoughts in the comments.